Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Sophia Wardell, and today we have a very special guest, entrepreneur and author, Lois Melbourne. Lois has published two children's books, STEM Club Goes Exploring and Kids Go to Workday, and a fictional novel, Moral Code. Lois is also the founder of the nonprofit My Future Story, which encourages children to explore career paths. Thanks for joining us today, Lois.
I'm so glad to be here.
We're so happy to have you. And today I want to discuss dystopian fiction writing with you. So, Lois, tell me, on the note of ethical dilemmas in character development, how can an author effectively illustrate a character's commitment to ethical principles in the face of moral dilemmas, as seen with your main characters and the decisions regarding AI?
I think the adage of actions speak louder than words are actually a very good tool to use when you're thinking about creating a story that has ethical issues in it, because you don't want to be preachy.
Right.
And if you get too much telling about what's going on and what people are thinking, instead of showing ethical behavior,
Mm-hmm.
it can rub people the wrong way. So the show versus tell kind of, advice to writers especially is important when it's time to kind of get a big message across. Make sure that your characters are living and breathing the ethics or the morals or the principles that they proclaim to be. And then you can create a dynamic between those in the organization or in the book that disagree, and that creates conflict, instead of just saying you should be a good person. So that they'll illustrate it in action.
That's very interesting. And in terms of the societal commentary through technology, what techniques can an author typically use to explore the implications of these advanced technologies like smart dust in their narratives?
If you're talking about, science fiction, there's such a great history of technology in that storytelling in order to highlight society's issues. We need to build the groundwork now. I mean, people, not fiction. And how are we going to interact with AI? And how are we going to develop it? And storytelling is a great way to set that in motion and say, we need to make sure we build boundaries within our technology. So, like a moral code, there's a moral operating system, and we talk about that's the framework, that's the guardrails within the development of the AI to keep it on track. And so it's only slightly fanciful because it could be done, it's realistic. And that's what made it so much fun to write, is where are our problems, and then how can technology help us solve those? And I could just write them into creation, but really had to keep realistic technology advances in mind.
And how could these technologies, you touched on it a little bit, but how could they serve as metaphors for real world concerns about surveillance and control?
So we do have smart dust in the book, and it is used for surveillance. But I looked at what is legal in the US for surveillance, and built that into the technology as well. So you have to have subpoenas to listen into conversations, and so there was elements where that was built into the tech. But also, if I'll give a real life example, if a police officer hears someone in distress, they can go into a building or they can pursue a situation because they hear distress. And
Right.
so there's, I don't know if this is the right legal term, but probable cause for them to need to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And the technology is there now where you can detect distress in voice. And so my smart bus can detect distress in children. And we talk about how that's important and where it came from. And that allows the smart bus to then penetrate a location and start the surveillance and send the signal to say, hey, this child needs help. So I went with what was already legal and then built that into the tech and the pursuit and the plot.
How could an author approach the development of partnerships between characters and AI to create these compelling narratives?
One of the things I did was show the progression of training that is needed in AI and how training further develops. So Ellie grows in her ability throughout the story because I wanted to help illustrate how, one, it's important to know how AIs do learn and work, that they learn based on the data that they're fed. And so my characters are picking and choosing what type of data needs to be put in front of their AI in order for them to learn. But it's having also that huge advancements that we're having now in AI and the ability to communicate and assimilate data with an AI or through that process. So, my AI became a character in and of itself. So communication is straight off there, just like any other character dynamic.
I want to talk a little bit about consequences of innovation as a theme. In what ways would you say that an author could depict potential consequences of technological innovation on society, particularly regarding vulnerable populations like children?
Well, I wanted to show a non-dystopian mode for AI. For one, I'm an optimistic person. I also could not spend my writing time in the years it takes to write in a dystopian mindset. It wouldn't be good for me. And so that was part of my framing. But the technology that's out there, it can be used for good or bad. And so I think it's important that we look at the what is the goal that you're trying to do? Are you trying to show? I'm not saying dystopian is bad, that kind of writing is bad. It's very healthy to look at. If we don't control things, we're going to have some challenges in front of us. And that is a symbol and a path that people need to look at. We can learn a lot from a dystopian or I don't believe in a utopian. I'm not that optimistic, but the balance of what can technology do and how are we going to control it, but how are we going to use it to help us?
How would you say that some of these big themes that you've used and could be used for other authors in their plots to enhance the story's emotional impact?
I think the interaction with technology is so much a part of our lives. How we interact with our cars. Do we give choice to the vehicle to do some of the driving or not? Our phones, how much do we use? It's so much day-to-day part of who we are now. If you extrapolate how much more technology can advance, there's a lot of decision making that people need to make about how they use technology, about who they support as far as with their dollars, who are they going to buy from and what are those organizations doing? So I think authors really have a great opportunity and a wonderful palette to work with. I'll say one of the challenges for me was I would be writing about technology that I thought would be coming out in 5 or 10 or 15 or more years. And all of a sudden I'd read MIT, their technology review, and darn it, they're launching a product that can do it.
Right.
Like, okay, that's not a futuristic thing. That's a now thing. How will it be in the 10 years forward that my book was set in? So it can be a challenge, but it's a huge opportunity.
Well, Lois, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on futuristic fiction.
Thank you.
Lastly, where can our listeners find and connect with you?
So I'm on several socials. On Facebook, I'm loismelbourne.author. I have loismelbourne.com is a website. A Moral Code, the book, is the website for the book. And then in Instagram, I'm Lois Melbourne 131.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you everyone for tuning into today's video with entrepreneur and author Lois Melbourne. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.